What if I told you that the prophecy everyone thought was about one place was actually about another? What if the warning that shook the intelligence community for decades was deliberately mistranslated to protect a nation that was never ready to hear the truth? There is a document, classified until 2 months ago, that reveals Baba Vanga spoke not once but twice about the same vision. And the second time she specified a different location, a place that would become the epicenter of transformation, a land where the sign would appear, not over mountains but over monuments. Not in a city most have never visited, but in the heart of a nation that believes itself untouchable. That place is the United States of America. 48 hours. The same warning she gave for every major shift in human consciousness. The same window of preparation before reality tears itself open and shows us what has been hiding beneath the surface of our comfortable illusions. But this time the stakes are different, because this time the revelation does not happen in a distant capital that most Americans cannot find on a map. This time it happens here, in the country that has spent centuries convincing itself that it is exceptional, that it is chosen, that it is protected by geography and military might from the cosmic forces that govern existence. This time, exceptionalism ends. The woman who saw the future with eyes that could not see the present spoke of America only in whispers, and those whispers were recorded by people who understood that some truths are too dangerous to shout. She said that the nation built on revolution would face the revolution of a different kind, not political or social, but ontological, a complete overturning of what Americans believe about themselves, their history, and their place in the universe. She said it would begin with a sign in the sky, not over one location but over 3 simultaneously. 3 sites that represent the pillars of American identity, power, memory, and aspiration. Washington, D.C., New York City, and a place in the desert that officially does not exist but everyone knows about. The sign would appear over all 3 at once, synchronized with precision that would prove beyond any doubt that this was not natural phenomenon but deliberate communication, and it would happen in 48 hours from the moment the first indicator appeared. That indicator manifested yesterday at 3:37 in the morning Eastern Time, when seismographs across North America registered an anomaly that should be physically impossible. The vibration originated from 3 separate points simultaneously, each point corresponding exactly to the locations Baba Vanga specified, and the frequency matched no known geological process. It was rhythmic, patterned, unmistakably artificial. Scientists who saw the data immediately classified it, not because they understood what it meant, but precisely because they did not, and the implications terrified them. Do you feel it? That subtle shift in the air, that electric tension that has been building for weeks now. That sense that something enormous is approaching but you cannot quite identify what it is. You are not imagining it. Millions of people across America are reporting the same sensation. A low-frequency hum at the edge of perception that makes sleep difficult and concentration almost impossible. It started quietly 3 weeks ago and has been intensifying steadily, growing louder though no instrument can detect it, becoming more insistent though it has no measurable source. This is the preparation, the cosmic announcement that what Baba Vanga saw is beginning to manifest. That the 48-hour countdown has started and there is no stopping what comes next. She described the sign in detail that seems impossible. For someone who lived in a small Bulgarian village and never traveled to America, she said the sky over Washington would split open to reveal symbols that were simultaneously ancient and futuristic. Geometric patterns that would be instantly recognizable to some part of the human brain that usually remains dormant, that carries memories from before recorded history. She said monuments would cast shadows that defied the sun's position, that buildings would reflect light that came from no visible source, that the air itself would shimmer as if reality was having difficulty maintaining its usual structure, and she said that everyone who witnessed it would feel simultaneously terrified and relieved, as if something they had been dreading their entire lives had finally arrived and turned out to be not an ending but a beginning. Washington was only the first location. She spoke more extensively about New York, about the city that never sleeps, finally having to confront why it cannot sleep, why it drives itself into exhaustion rather than face the silence where truth lives. She said the towers, and here she became disturbingly specific, would be replaced not once, but twice, and the second time they would be replaced by light rather than steel. by something that looked like a building but was actually a message. A vertical inscription in the sky that could be read from 100 miles away in every direction. Those who documented her words in the 1980s thought she was speaking Now, with the Freedom Tower standing where the Twin Towers fell, with its spire designed to reach exactly 1,776 feet to commemorate American independence, the specificity of her vision becomes chilling. She was not speaking about buildings at all. She was describing the location where the sign would anchor itself, where the light would pour through from whatever dimension it originates in. And then there is the third location, the one she would only discuss with intelligence operatives who came to her seeking information about American military installations. She called it the place where they keep the sky locked up, a phrase that made no sense until decades later when the world learned about Area 51, about Groom Lake, about the sprawling complex in Nevada where the United States military tests technologies that officially do not exist and studies phenomena that officially do not occur. She said this location would be the keystone, the point where the barrier between visible and invisible reality was already weakest because of all the attempts to pierce it, all the experiments and investigations and desperate efforts to understand what lies beyond the limits of conventional science. She said when the sign appeared over the desert, it would activate something that has been waiting there for much longer than the military base. Something that was there before humans came to this continent. Something that has been sleeping and is now ready to wake. 24 hours remain. If she was right, if the timeline holds, then tomorrow evening as the sun sets across America, the sky will change. Not gradually, not in ways that can be dismissed as atmospheric anomaly or mass hallucination, but undeniably, unmistakably, irreversibly. And the question every American will face is not whether they believe it is happening, because belief becomes irrelevant when you can see truth with your own eyes, but how they will respond to the shattering of every certainty they built there, lives upon. There is more to her American prophecy, fragments that were too sensitive to include in official reports, that were shared only verbally among those who needed to know. She said America was built on a lie, not the obvious lies about freedom and equality that historians argue about, but a deeper lie, a foundational deception about why this land was really colonized, what the founders actually discovered here, what bargain was struck to allow a nation to rise so quickly to such power. She said this lie would be exposed by the sign, that the light appearing in the sky would illuminate not just the present, but the past, would show Americans what their country really is, what it was always meant to become, and why it had to remain ignorant of its true purpose until the appointed time. Do you know the real reason the Statue of Liberty faces the direction it faces? Why it holds a torch rather than any other symbol? Why its crown has exactly 7 rays? Most people accept the official explanations about enlightenment and welcoming immigrants and representing freedom to the world. But Baba Vanga suggested something else. She said the statue was built by people who knew what was coming, who received instructions from sources they could not explain, who embedded in its design a beacon that would activate when the time was right. She said the torch is not metaphorical, but functional. That when the sign appears, liberty's flame would burn with real light for the first time in over a century, would ignite with an illumination that has nothing to do with electricity or gas, would become a pillar of radiance, visible from space and impossible to extinguish because its fuel source is not of this world. The reports are already starting to leak through channels that governments cannot fully control. Last night, dozens of people in New York Harbor reported seeing the statue move. Not statue move in the way that large structures shift slightly with temperature and wind, but deliberately turn its head, slowly rotating to face not Europe across the Atlantic but west, toward the interior of the continent, toward the place in the desert where the keystone waits. Park rangers denied everything, called it light tricks and mass hysteria. But the videos exist, shaky phone footage from multiple angles showing the same impossible thing, a copper monument changing position as if it was alive, as if it was waking after a long sleep and preparing for its real function. And in Washington, something stranger. The Lincoln Memorial, where the 16th president sits in eternal contemplation, has become a gathering place for people who do not know why they are gathering. Starting 3 days ago, individuals from across the country felt sudden compulsive need to travel to D.C., to stand in front of Lincoln's statue, to wait for something they could not name. They are still there, hundreds of them now, standing vigil in silence, watching the statue as if expecting it to speak. Security has tried to disperse them, but they return as soon as they are moved, drawn by a force stronger than law or logic. And those who have stood vigil longest report that Lincoln's stone eyes are changing, that the marble is becoming translucent, that light is building behind the facade waiting for permission to break through. But it is the third location that presents the greatest mystery and the greatest danger. What is really in Area 51? Not the jokes about alien spacecraft and little green men, but the actual truth that has been buried under layers of misdirection and ridicule. Baba Vanga told the intelligence officer who visited her in 1988 that the base was built on top of something that was discovered accidentally. Something that terrified the people who found it so completely that they built an entire military complex around it just to make sure no unauthorized person ever got close. She said it was a door, though a door was not quite the right word. More like a fold-in space where two realities pressed against each other, so thinly that you could almost push through if you knew the right way to apply pressure. She said the American military had been trying to open this door for decades, using technologies they barely understood, following instructions they found in places they would never publicly acknowledge. And she said their efforts had weakened the barrier to the point where it would eventually open on its own, with or without human intervention. And when it opened, what came through would change everything. The sign in the sky would be the announcement that the door was opening, that the moment humanity had been racing toward and fleeing from in equal measure had finally arrived. 12 hours remain. The sun is rising over the East Coast right now, illuminating a nation that has no idea what sunset will bring. People are going about their routines, commuting to work, taking children to school, worrying about ordinary things because ordinary is all they know, because the comfortable fiction of normal life is so compelling that even overwhelming evidence of its falseness cannot quite shatter it. But there are cracks appearing. Small fissures in the facade of normalcy that are spreading too quickly to repair. Air traffic controllers are reporting anomalies. Aircraft instruments showing impossible readings, compasses spinning wildly, registering elevations that cannot be correct. Pilots are seeing things in the clouds, shapes that are too geometric to be natural formations, patterns that repeat with mathematical precision across hundreds of miles. The FAA is calling it electromagnetic interference, but they cannot identify the source, cannot explain why it is intensifying, cannot predict when it will end. Some controllers are quietly suggesting that flights should be grounded, that it is not safe to have people in the air when the instruments cannot be trusted. But the economic cost of stopping all air travel is too high, so the flights continue, and everyone hopes that whatever is happening resolves itself before disaster strikes. And there is the matter of the dreams. Just like in the Caracas prophecy, people across America are reporting identical dreams. But the content is different, specific to this nation and its particular destiny. Their dream they are standing in a vast library where every book is simultaneously open, where all knowledge that ever existed is available. But reading any of it would drive them insane because human minds are not built to contain that much truth at once. And in the center of this library is a mirror, and when they look into it, they do not see themselves but what they could have been, what they were meant to be before fear and limitation and the need for safety made them choose smaller lives. The dream always ends with a voice asking one question: are you ready to remember who you really are? And they wake with that question echoing in their minds, impossible to forget, impossible to answer. Baba Vanga said the American character was shaped by forgetting, by deliberate amnesia about what the land contained before colonization, about what indigenous peoples knew that was systematically erased, about what agreements were broken and what consequences were postponed but never eliminated. She said, this forgetting allowed America to grow powerful but kept it stunted, trapped in adolescent fantasies about its own importance while remaining ignorant of its actual purpose in the cosmic order. And she said the sign would force remembering, would strip away the comfortable myths and reveal the uncomfortable truths. And this revelation would either destroy the nation or transform it into something unprecedented in human history. 6 hours remain. Evening is approaching. In homes across the country, people are making decisions without fully understanding why. Some are stocking up on supplies as if preparing for a storm, though no storm is for. Others are traveling to be with family, compelled by sudden urgency to bridge distances they have been content to maintain for years. Still others are going to sacred places. Two mountaintops and ancient sites, and locations where the boundary between ordinary and extraordinary has always felt thin. They do not know consciously what they are preparing for, but something deeper than consciousness is guiding them, positioning them for what comes next. The military knows something is happening. Satellite imagery shows unusual deployments, personnel moving into positions around the three key locations, equipment being installed that has no obvious purpose. There are rumors of evacuation plans for Washington, whispers about contingencies if the situation becomes unmanageable, speculation about what unmanageable might mean when applied to a phenomenon that defies conventional understanding. But there is also a resignation, a sense among those in power that this is beyond their control, that no amount of military might can stop what is coming, that the only option is to witness and hope to manage the aftermath. And in certain circles, among people who had been preparing for this moment without quite believing it would arrive in their lifetimes, there is something approaching joy. The mystics and seers who have been dismissed as delusional, the researchers who pursued forbidden knowledge at the cost of their reputations, the experiencers who never recovered from encounters that officially never happened, they are gathering now, drawn together by recognition that their time has come, that they are about to be vindicated in the most absolute way possible. They understand that vindication will not feel like victory because the cost of being proven right is that everything changes, but they are ready for that cost in ways the comfortable majority cannot be. 3 hours remain. The sun is beginning its descent. In Washington, shadows are lengthening across the mall, stretching from monument to monument as if connecting them in a pattern that will only become visible from above. In New York, the late afternoon light is hitting the Freedom Tower at an angle that makes it seem to pulse, to breathe, to prepare for transformation. And in the Nevada desert, where the sun beats down mercilessly on secrets buried in sand and silence, something is stirring. Something is responding to signals that have been growing stronger with each passing hour. Baba Vanga's prophecy contained one final element that has been kept secret until now, that was considered too dangerous to reveal until the moment arrived. She said that when the sign appeared, when the sky opened over the three locations simultaneously, a choice would be presented not to governments or institutions, but to individuals. Each person would hear in their own consciousness the simple question: do you choose to continue as you have been, or do you choose to become what you are capable of becoming? And the answer would not be spoken but demonstrated through action, through whether they moved toward the light or away from it, whether they opened themselves to transformation or closed themselves in fear. She said this was not judgment, that there was no wrong answer, that some souls needed more time and limitation before they were ready for expansion. But she also said the moment would not come again in any lifetime currently incarnated on Earth, that this was the great opportunity, the cosmic invitation that entire civilizations waited eons to receive. To refuse it would not be sin, but would be a choice with consequences that would echo through future incarnations, through cycles of existence that most humans do not remember but carry in their deepest being. 1 hour remains. People are gathering at the three sites now, thousands at each location, drawn by instinct stronger than reason. In Washington, they surround the Lincoln Memorial, eyes fixed on the sky above the monument. In New York, they fill the streets around the Freedom Tower, necks craned upward, waiting for the first sign of change. In Nevada, they stand in the desert as close as security will allow to the restricted zones, facing toward the place where classified operations merge with cosmic mystery. And across America, millions more are watching screens, following live feeds, sensing that history is about to break in half, that everything before this moment will become the old world, and everything after will be something new, something without precedent, something that will require new language to describe because the old words will no longer fit. The reality they inhabit. The light is changing, not just the natural shift of sunset, but something else, something additional, a tint that was not there before, a quality that makes the air seem thicker, more substantial, more present. The standing vigil report, feeling tingling in their extremities, electricity running through their bodies, consciousness expanding beyond the normal boundaries of skull and skin. They are experiencing the beginning of the aperture, the first stage of revelation, the moment when what has always been true but never visible starts to become manifest, and then it begins. Exactly on schedule, exactly as Baba Vanga described. Exactly 48 hours after the seismic anomaly that marked the countdown, his sky splits, not metaphorically, not in the sense of clouds parting, but actually tears open like fabric, revealing something behind it. Something that was there all along but hidden by the curtain of conventional perception. And the light that pours through is not sunlight or moonlight or any light that belongs to the electromagnetic spectrum humans are familiar with. It is light with texture, light with sound, light with meaning embedded in its very substance. It is violet at the edges and gold at the center, pulsing in the pattern she described, slow beats and fast beats, and silence between them. And in the silence people hear their names called not from outside but from within, from the part of themselves that has been waiting for this moment across millennia. Over Washington the light takes the form of symbols, vast geometric patterns hanging in the sky like celestial architecture, each symbol containing information that downloads directly into consciousness without need for translation. Those who see them understand instantly things they should not understand, remember things they never learned, access knowledge that has been locked in human DNA, waiting for activation. The symbols are instructions, blueprints, reminders of what humans were designed to become once they reached sufficient developmental stage. And they are beautiful, heartbreakingly beautiful. So perfect in their construction that tears stream down faces of people who never cried before, who never believed in anything beyond material reality, but can no longer deny what their eyes show them. Over New York, the light becomes a tower, not replacing the Freedom Tower, but superimposed on it, occupying the same space but in a different dimension, visible and transparent simultaneously. And this tower of light extends not just upward but downward, plunging through the earth, connecting sky and ground, heaven and foundation, showing that what humans think of as separate has always been united, has always been one continuous reality. That consciousness was too limited to perceive whole. The people gathered below feel themselves lifted, not physically but spiritually, raised to a viewing angle where they can see the entirety of the tower, can understand its purpose as a bridge between worlds, as an anchor point where transformation can accrue. And in the Nevada desert, the light opens something that has been sealed for longer than human memory extends. The fold in space that Baba Vanga called a door swings wide, and through it comes not invasion, but invitation. Not aliens from another planet, but beings from another layer of reality that exists parallel to this one, separated only by frequency, by vibration, by the rate at which consciousness moves. These beings are not monsters or saviors but reflections, showing humans what they will become when they finish the evolutionary journey they are currently traveling, when they master the integration of matter and spirit, when they remember fully what Baba Vanga spent her life trying to help them remember. The three lights, the three signs, the three apertures remained visible for exactly 12 minutes. During those minutes, time behaves strangely for those who witness the phenomena directly. Some experience it as hours, living entire lifetimes of revelation compressed into moments. Others experience it as seconds, barely registering the beginning before it is already ending. But everyone, every single person who sees the light, is changed by it in ways they will spend the rest of their lives integrating, understanding, attempting to articulate to those who are not present or who chose to look away. And when the lights fade, when the apertures close, when the sky returns to normal configuration and the world looks again like it did before, nothing is actually the same. The veil has been pulled back far enough that he cannot quite return to its original position. What was revealed cannot be The knowledge downloaded into millions of consciousnesses simultaneously cannot be deleted. The transformation has begun, and there is no reversing it. No going back to comfortable ignorance. No pretending that humanity is alone or limited or separate from the vast cosmic order that surrounds and interpenetrates everything. Baba Vanga saw this moment with perfect clarity. She saw the panic and the wonder mixing together in equal measure. She saw the government scrambling to control a narrative that could not be controlled. She saw the institutions built on old paradigms beginning to crumble as their foundations proved inadequate for new reality. But she also saw the emergence of something beautiful, the birth of a new human consciousness that could hold both ancient wisdom and modern knowledge, that could honor the past while embracing the future, that could be fully grounded in earth while reaching toward stars. She saw that America, the nation that prided itself on exceptionalism, would indeed be exceptional, but not in the way it imagined. It would become the test case, the experiment, a place where the old world and new world would clash most dramatically and therefore create the greatest opportunity for synthesis. The violence in American culture, the division, the seeming inability to find common ground on anything, all of this was preparation, she suggested, toughening the national character for a challenge that would require strength beyond anything yet faced. The sign over America was not punishment but opportunity, not ending but beginning, not destruction but transformation of the most profound kind. And now it has happened. The 48 hours have elapsed. The sign has appeared exactly as prophesied, and every American must decide what they will do with this knowledge, how they will integrate this experience, whether they will become bridges to the new world or anchors to the old. There is no judgment in either choice, but there are consequences, paths that lead in different directions, futures that branch from this single moment of decision. Are you ready? Not just to have witnessed something extraordinary, but to allow it to change you, to dissolve the rigid boundaries of who you thought you were, and permit something larger to emerge. This is the real challenge, not seeing the light but becoming the light, not witnessing transformation but embodying it, not remaining spectator, but stepping into participation with cosmic forces that have been guiding human evolution since before humans existed. Baba Vanga's final words about America, the words that were never publicly released, were simple and devastating. The nation that forgot why it was born will remember, and the remembering will either kill it or make it fully alive for the first time. We are now in the space between those two possibilities, balanced on the knife edge of potential, capable of falling either direction depending on choices made not by leaders, but by ordinary people who must become extraordinary to meet this moment. The sign has appeared, the prophecy is fulfilled, the transformation has begun. What happens next is not written in any prophecy, because it depends on you, on the millions of individual choices that will collectively determine whether humanity to meet its destiny or retreats into fear and limitation. The light has shown you what is possible. The aperture has given you a glimpse of what lies beyond the boundaries you thought were fixed. Now you must decide whether you will walk toward that possibility or away from it, whether you will become part of the new world or cling to the old one as it dissolves. This is the moment Baba Vanga died trying to prepare you for. This is the revelation that every prophet and mystic across centuries has pointed toward. This is the birth of a new consciousness, and like all births, it is painful and beautiful and terrifying and magnificent all at once. Welcome to the other side of the veil. Welcome to the world that has always existed but you were not yet ready to see. Welcome to your true heritage, your cosmic citizenship, your place in an order so vast that human language has no words adequate to describe it. The sign over America has appeared. Everything changes now. Everything begins now. And you are here, alive, conscious, witnessing and participating in the most significant moment in human history. Do not waste it. Do not turn away. Step forward into the light and become what you have always been but never dared to believe you could be. The time is now. The place is here. And you are ready. Even if you do not feel ready, even if fear screams at you to stay small and safe and limited, you are ready. Baba Vanga saw it. The light confirms it. And now you must believe it and live it and share it with everyone still sleeping, still waiting for permission to wake up. Be that permission. Be that light. Be that bridge. The sign has appeared. Now you must become the sign for others, showing them through your transformation what is possible for all humanity. This is your purpose. This is why you are alive, right? Now, in this body, in this time, in this place. Fulfill it.